and I hope that she will turn out to be, in every respect, a refreshing and positive change from our latest former Governor General. That didn't work out so well in the end.
No, it didn't. And this is why I'm glad that this individual seems to be a lot of content to her character, because as you and I as conservatives, that's what matters the most. It doesn't matter race, creed, color, any of that thing. I could live with anybody as Prime Minister or Governor General as long as there's a lot of substance to their character.
Right.
And that the kind of things they represent when they go abroad, they represent the country. The kind of character that they carry with them should reflect that of the nation. And I think that in this case, it certainly seems like she's in a position to do that, unlike the Prime Minister. So this is what I meant when I said that even a blind hog finds an acorn once in a while. While I don't like the Prime Minister, I don't think he's a man of character. And, he's just, to quote Stephen Harper, he just wasn't ready. And to finish that phrase, he'll never be ready. If he's not ready now, he never would be. It's just we don't have anybody to challenge him because of the things that we'll get into later. But when it comes to the Governor General, it doesn't matter to me what they look like, where they come from, as long as they are people of character. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree completely. And as I said, from everything that I've been able to read about her, I'm impressed. I think you have to give credit where it's due. And I don't know whether the fact that she is Aboriginal or of Aboriginal heritage was a factor in her choice, in the Prime Minister choosing her or choosing to recommend her to the Queen for her appointment. I don't know whether it was, but given the current state of affairs, justified or not, there is this tension between the Aboriginals communities in Canada and other communities because of the whole re-eruption of the residential school controversies, etc. Again, without giving that too much credence, the reality is that this tension does exist, justified or not. And so I would say, that the Prime Minister probably, I hesitate to say the term, but I would almost say that it was an inspired choice. And I'm not afraid to give Justin Trudeau credit where it's due. So I don't know whether it's
just not due very often.
Well, fair enough, Nick. Fair enough. But in this case, I think that it's a good choice. It's a good job. And I'm prepared to say, good show, good work, Justin Trudeau, on this particular file. You may end up after the last recommendation and how all of that worked out. This may actually redeem not just the post, but your reputation for making good choices when it comes to appointing people to high office in those areas that. Or at least recommending the appointment to high office in those areas where it's your constitutional
for that to happen, though, for him to redeem himself in that light, he'd have to make a half a dozen decent appointments, and the chances of that are the same as Montreal beating Tampa 4 straight.
Oh dear!
Sorry, I just don't. It might happen. Who knows? But I doubt it.
Nick, you really don't like this guy. I mean, I sense a certain amount of Shall I say animosity?
Well, I wouldn't have a single bad thing to say about him after he leaves office, as long as he goes to Hans Island and we get to drop him a ham sandwich once a week.
And where is
after that?
Where is Hans Island located, by the way?
It's
our
between
listeners?
Ellesmere and Greenland, way the heck up at the top of that long passage between the two islands.
Right.
It's
So-
right at the very top. It's 2 square miles of naked rock.
So it's and it is the only island that is actively disputed.
That's right.
Between Canada and Denmark.
Oh, no. You know, we'd have to actually get into physical war. Because the way the war works between Canada and Denmark over Hans Island is the Canadian Navy shows up and they take down the Danish flag and they put up the Canadian flag and leave a bottle of Canadian whiskey. Then the next year, the Danes come up, they take down the Canadian flag, put up the Danish one, and leave a bottle of schnapps behind. So if Trudeau was on Hans Island, you're never going to see anything but empty bottles.
And of course, when they're in the process of taking the Canadian flag down and replacing the bottle of Canadian whiskey with Danish schnapps, of course they're warming themselves to that bottle of Canadian whiskey. So it's a nice little,
and it won't be there.
It's a nice little tradition. So
it is. It's a lot better than getting into a shooting war over 2 square miles of rock.
That'll never happen. But it's,
of course not.
It's a little bit of fun. But I'm just wondering. I thought it would be interesting because you were making the reference, and people are probably out there scratching their heads, going, "Hans Island?
Where the heck is
Hans Island?"
Well, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, Joseph. They don't even know where it is. So drop them there. Nobody will ever think to look for them there.
Oh, dear. Nick.
Except the one poor Herc pilot that's got to kick a ham sandwich at the back of the Herc once a month on his way to alert.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be one sandwich. It would be, he'd have to send some ration packs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's an idea. Send him field rats, what they call them, field rats.
Rat packs.
Rat packs. That's the word. Rat packs that he feeds the army. Send him. Either that or remember the old box lunches we used to get?
Oh, Nick. Yes.
I'm just looking after the guy's well-being, that's all.
Of course you are. But
shove him a paintball gun to keep the polar bears away.
And we'll get into this in the next segment. But the reality is, Nick, it's beginning to look more and more like we're going to have Justin Trudeau around for another 4 or 5 years. And
hey, look, I'm in a good mood. Don't ruin it now.
The funny thing is that so he's been prime minister already since 2015. So that's 6 years. And I'm just thinking now, okay, so his father, he's really a long way away from how long his father was in. But, he's already won 2 elections, one a majority, one a minority. Be interesting to see how long he sticks around if indeed he does win. If he loses, I think that's it. He's finished. He's had a pretty good run of it, mind you, but I think that he's finished. I think that members of the Liberal Party are, a little tired of him. He has not, I think, earned the respect and admiration of a large number of members of his own political party. So I think that if he loses, that'll be it. But even if he wins, I wonder if he sticks around for the full 4 years or 5 years. It'll be interesting.
Here's the thing to keep in mind. When even Climate Barry is scrambling for the lifeboats, you're in trouble.
I don't think she's scrambling, you see.
Yeah, she said she's not running again.
No, I know that, but I don't think that's a matter of going for the lifeboats. I think she's. I have quite.
Remember
a bit to
who
say
we're
on
talking
that.
about.
I don't. I have quite a bit of things to say about the subject of the former minister of climate change,
the environment,
deciding not to run. But I don't think it's fair to characterize it as her heading for the lifeboats. Again, we're moving into the territory that we want to cover in the second half hour of the show. But I think that she really is. We were talking about this a little bit last week in the final segment of the show, and I put it up as a podcast yesterday. And then when I did, I like doing these little video teasers, and the way I phrased it yesterday when I was promoting the podcast was I pointed out that our former Minister of Climate Change is leaving politics to become the current high priestess of the Church of Climate Change. and she's basically said that, okay? Nick, she's basically, what she's talking about is the fact that she's excited to spend some more time with her family, for sure, but also she's excited to get into fighting climate change full time, and because we, as she pointed out several times in recent interviews when she was announcing her resignation, or her not running again, I should say, she pointed out on several occasions, we only have one planet. This is the only planet we have to live on. And going, okay, yeah, all right. As my children would say to me from time to time, when I said something that was, pretty
blazingly
clear,
obvious,
they'd go, "Thank you, Captain Obvious."
Yes, no kidding. It's like what Elizabeth May saying they're actually from Earth.
Yes, we really are Earthlings.
Yeah, that's right. The Green Party are really Earthlings.
I don't know, Elizabeth. I'm looking at the other Green Party members around her when she made that announcement, and I'm thinking, I think they're thinking, speak for yourself there, Elizabeth.
Could very well be. We're from planet Zirconian or some damn thing. Who knows? We're from Alpha Centauri.
Anyway, politics becomes weirder and weirder. Anyway, this is my prediction for former Minister McKenna. And that is that she is going to head up this newly formed climate change charity, and I think that we've done some background work on this, and some of our colleagues have, and so probably next week, maybe the week after, we'll be ready to talk publicly about some of the findings that we've done or we've been able to dig up in that whole area. So. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, on that subject, because
I just figured something out, Joseph. This is something I would suggest to conservatives, and I'm only partially tongue-in-cheek. You want to save the taxpayer a lot of money? Just trim the name of some of these ministries back to 4 words. And think of the money we'd save on stationery.
Hey, well, listen, don't joke. There's a tale told of a low-level bureaucrat in the federal bureaucracy in the United States who came up with the idea of simply changing the font that official publications of the American government uses when they print their publications, and saved millions and millions of dollars in ink charges just by changing.
I'm not surprised to hear that at all.
Yeah.
So I'm only partially kidding when I say that. I mean, instead of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, blah blah blah, just call it the Ministry. 4 words: the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of. Keep it short. You don't need. Everybody knows what you're talking about. Save some money on printing, on ink, and on stationery. And because, they spend fortunes on that stuff.
Okay. We're going to go for a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back in a moment on the Nick and Joe Show on the Think Radio Broadcast Network.